In 2012, unfortunately, I was feeling sick. I would cough. It was like a dry cough and just having trouble trying to sleep when I lay backwards. So told her the new job was starting, and the next day is I better go to the emergency room, make sure I don't have like pneumonia or bronchitis or something. And that's really what I thought, like a bronchitis. Really didn't feel horrible, but I knew something was up with the lungs. And I went in there to the emergency room here in my town in Batavia, and they took all the blood tests and they come back in about an hour and says, look, Mr. Urtel, we don't know how to tell you this, but you're going to have to go either Rochester or Buffalo to one of the big hospitals. We can't even treat you here. Your kidneys are in total shutdown and your blood pressure is 232 over 111. You should be in stroke mode, but you're not. So from then I went on the ambulance and went up to Unity Hospital, and 8 days later I was on kidney dialysis for 8 years until I got a transplant in 2020.
That must have been quite the adjustment, just crashing right into dialysis like that.
Yeah, really hard to even put that into words what you feel when you go. I mean, I know the first treatment I got in the hospital, it put you kind of into shock. Like I was shaking like unbelievably, like really wasn't cold, but just had shakes. And it takes a while. It really took me about a year to adjust and where you feel okay. I mean, you get to dialysis, there's alarms going off. I was in a room with 16 other patients, but when you hear those alarms, at first you're thinking, "Oh my God, that must be me. What's going on?" Oh, And being that I found out like that, they had to put a port in me to get the dialysis. That goes in, they put it in through you right here, comes through your neck, goes down in right into your heart and
Hmm.
sits there. And they have two ports that come out, one for the draw, one to put the blood back. But sometimes that being down inside your heart, it can get up against the side of your heart and you'll feel that flutter and you're like, oh my God, but it's done by weight then. So now they know they weigh you. When they weigh you when you come in and they weigh you when you leave, and they know what to take you down to, how much fluid to take out of your blood. So yeah, for the first year, like you can't really explain it. It's bad. You feel like you've gone to probably hell, And they told me get in the best shape you can, because when you get the transplant, you're going to have to, the more you exercise, the better you'll be. So I got a treadmill and I stayed at it. On dialysis days, you're not going to do it, no matter what. But on my off dialysis days, I did. I got to 2-3 miles a day at walking, and that helped me, a lot. But I was on the list at URMC in Rochester. They told me 4 years, so you start thinking, well, I'm going to get to that 4 years anyway. I mean, it's
Hmm.
long. It turned into 8 years for me. Why I don't know. It's just the way it was, and I got the transplant in 2020. I'll tell you, dialysis changed my outlook on the world and life a lot. Like little things they don't bother you no more. I had signs of high blood pressure throughout, but racing horses, I was young, and you're messing with 1,000-pound animals, and nothing's gonna hurt me. And the insurance plan wasn't great for the harness racing back then. It's come farther now too. So I also had allergies. So anytime I had like the headache or whatever, red face, I blamed allergies. Obviously, there were signs of high blood pressure, but going back, I know the signs now. I wish I would have then, but I didn't. But the sleep apnea was the main cause that was causing the high blood pressure. Racing horses, we also don't get a lot of sleep. Like if you get up in the morning early, get to the barn, do those horses. If you're racing that night, get a little break, go home, eat a quick lunch, come back. You might be there till midnight. Get out, you're not going to eat the best food. It might be Burger King open. You go home, throw something in the microwave. So that all led to high blood pressure too, of course. And
Oh
with the
yeah.
sleep apnea, it was a silent killer. They say the silent killer. Absolutely. I had no idea in the world that my kidneys were shut down, nor that the blood pressure was that bad. I mean,
After you had started dialysis, what did you first think about the idea of transplantation?
to be honest, it's a funny thing because you first hear about that and you're a little skeptical of all of it, and I just do I want to go get cut open now because you kind of start to settle into the dialysis. And with me, I wasn't as bad off as a lot of, like I say, I mean, I had to go get the treatment and I would do it, but I mean, I was still able to at least function throughout. You'd be tired and whatnot. Of course, you got to watch. You can't eat the salt. You got to change your diet up. You can't take in fluid. But I'm like, okay, I'm living. I can get up. I could get around. But I mean, like I say, looking around the room in there, you got the guy across you with no legs from diabetes, and the other one that can't hard comes in with a walker. The other, so you look around, you're like, boy, I'm just lucky. So I kind of settled in. So when they bring up transplant, I'm like, well, I mean, I can get by with this, not knowing that the average lifespan at that time was about 5 years on dialysis, if you're lucky. And my kidney doctor is like, Jim, no, you want to get on the transplant list. And, of course, I'm glad I did. And that's definitely, something you got to do that. There's no question. Dialysis, no matter what, you're not going to live along very long, and you're definitely not living a normal life. If you get the transplant, you definitely have a shot to come back and be pretty much normal. My case is a little different, but we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.